Hello, hello, hello! What is up, guys? It is josefwithanf here, and today I have a little bit of a different kind of video. I just realized I stole my intro from RuPaul. You know, we enters the workroom. That's neither here nor there. I guess it is here and there. Anyway. No, that wasn't funny. Anyway, as you can tell by the title, I have been keeping a little bit of a secret from you guys for... let's just say, when did I start this? Like, 2021-ish? So that's like almost 4 years, just about, roughly, I guess, I would have to say. 3-4 years, yeah. I have been working on a save file for The Sims 4. I actually have 2 save files, but today we're only going to cover one. And maybe not even all of it. I have been working on a Sims 2 conversion mod to The Sims 4. Obviously, it's not like a whatever, it's a save file, but I do have mod elements included, including mods that I did have to make myself. So you might want to grab a drink, maybe a snack, because this is going to be a little bit of a longer video. Maybe I'll cut it into a couple parts, I'm not sure exactly, but there's just quite a bit to get through, and I need you guys to keep in mind that this file is in very early, still early stages. Despite me working on it for so long, it's not ready for a public release yet. But yeah, go ahead and grab your drink. I have a XL Mountain Dew from a gas station, one of the fountain drinks. If you're not getting a fountain drink at a gas station, I'm looking at you weird. If you're gonna get a bottle, you know those little cans at some gas stations? That's not the conversation. The conversation today is not about gas stations. It is about the save file. So I call it the Uberhood, you know, obviously. And as you can see, I have a couple of these worlds bumped up here, and that's because I have most of the worlds renamed, just to show what I'm going to do with them. Also to keep my brain in track, I have a couple documents I'm using to keep track of everything, like what worlds are being used for what, etc. That was one thing, but I said etc. anyway. So obviously Willow Creek turned into Pleasantview. Pleasantview is actually spread over 2 neighborhoods, you know, what used to be Willow Creek and also Newcrest, but the Newcrest area is called Sunset Acres, which is more inspired by directly Sunset Valley and its more modern developments, like the mid-century type stuff-ish, as well as the condos from The Sims 2 Pleasantview, you know, where the Calientes and Dawn live. And then obviously Strangetown is the next big one, the next big Sims 2 hood, but it is actually spread out into 3 worlds, simply because one of my favorite games growing up was The Sims 2 for the Game Boy Advance. It was actually what I would say is the first Sims game I ever played. Granted, I played it on my DS, because, you know, the old DSs you could put a Game Boy Advance game into. But it was The Sims 2 for the Game Boy Advance, which took place in Strangetown. But also, Strangetown is the setting for The Sims 2 for the PSP, and The Sims 2 for the DS. So those 3, as well as the PC game, expand Strangetown into being a very big world with a lot of Sims. And now I know a lot of people haven't played the spin-off games, but that's where we get some aspects of canon. Strangetown is obviously Oasis Springs, but it's also Strangerville, duh, which I have called Old Strangetown, which has some of the more weird stuff from Strangetown in it. And then we also have what was Chestnut Ridge from Horse Ranch, and I've called it Dead Tree, which is actually the name of a district that you visit in The Sims 2 for the PSP, but it has other stuff in it, not just that. And they all have their own lore going along with them, and I've written, I mean, you can see I have world descriptions written that match them, but also like I had to come up with new ones, and then each of the little districts or the neighborhoods within the worlds are named as well. And then these are really the ones we're going to cover today, but I also have the other worlds, for the most part, all renamed to be what I plan on using them for. So obviously Veronaville is what used to be Windenburg, and I will just go ahead and show you that one because it has like Cap Manor, Monty Ranch, and then just like a couple other builds that I've started. This is the brand new restaurant, but which I had to look up Italian stuff for it, whatever. But you can see that would probably be released 2 or 3. So let's look at Pleasantview. After all that intro stuff, here's what I have in Pleasantview proper so far. As you can see, we have a lot of recognizable builds that look a little different. I think you can tell. But also each of the districts is named you know, they're renamed, they have descriptions. I try to pride myself on writing extremely close to what the Sims team writes their style is. So like Main Street is, you know, Main Street, it's has a well-developed waterfront and several outing opportunities for all ages, and it's really a place for a hot date or a fun get-together, which is a reference, you know, to The Sims Hot Date, and also Sims 4 Get-Together, which is my favorite Sims 4 pack. And we have a couple different lots here. We have the Gotham Memorial Library, we have Headman's Hideaway, we have Old Town Museum, and Lake Barrett. And Lake Barrett and Headman's Hideaway are actually restaurants, or not restaurants, lots from The Sims 1. I haven't really played The Sims 1 at all. But I was using their wiki pages and pictures of them and to go off of to inspire these. We do have Woodland Park, you know, the park in The Sims 2, Pleasantview. Woodland Drive is located next to the shipping and railroad hubs. It's full of character and low-cost homes for the real up-and-comers in town. And that's obviously where the Brokes live in their trailer, which I will show you them in a bit. We have Middle Lane, which is perfect for middle-class families, with suburban appeal and picket fence stylings. Nothing says suburbs like Middle Lane, and that's where the Dreamers live. We have Sim Lane, which is... I just realized I have 2 different lanes. That might be something worth changing. Maybe Middle Drive, or... we have Woodland Drive, maybe Middle Road, Middle Avenue, I don't know, something like that. We have Sim Lane with a community garden, which is obviously something I can't change, and a lovely riverside view. Sim Lane is the perfect place for Sims who are concerned with home facades and public images, which is, you know, shading the Pleasants who do live here, which, again, we'll show you them. I say we in the royal we, but also just meaning me, I'm the only person working on this. I do have my lovely, lovely people that I've sent this out to a little bit early to test. I will put their pictures and their ats up right now so you can see them. I love them. I love Marsky and Dakin. Again, I don't know how to say it out loud. I've said this in a couple other videos. I don't know how to say his username out loud. But, you know, they're my online friends. I have the Goths up here, and they're the only people right now that live in Wright Way. It's named after the former SimCity mayor. It's named, you know, actually after Will Wright, the creator of the franchise, but I thought it would be a fun way to do that. It's an exclusive neighborhood meant for the creme de la creme of Pleasantview society. As you can see, there are still quite a few lots empty. I still have 5 I need to build. I spent, you know, most of last month working on the community lots down here. They took a while. It just really takes it out of me. Let's check out Woodland Park. I feel like this is one of the most iconic Pleasantview lots, simply because it is the big park. Okay, so Woodland Park is still, you know, I always use the actual lots. My computer can somehow handle having The Sims 2 and The Sims 4 open at the same time. And I kind of flip back and forth, you know, using the actual lot as a reference with spacing and, you know, where everything is. It took me an extremely long time to get this pond. This lake? Is it a pond or a lake? I'm not sure the qualifications. Whatever this, the water, you know, the lake. I'm gonna call it a lake. Accurate. I had to, you know, I kind of traced it out with terrain painting, and then it took a while to figure out the terrain tools because I don't really use them in The Sims 4 that often because I don't think they're great. But yeah, it's still the same. We have the little gazebo over here, which has, you know, the scouts board. I felt like that was something that was really common, so maybe the scouts meet up here. Or not, I didn't think it was common, I felt like it was just smart. We have the playground area. So they just have a swing set and then a sandbox, but the sandbox does have toys in it. So you can bring toddlers here, and, you know, you can actually build sandcastles and stuff. This is a fishing spot, obviously. So there's fishing, there should be some geese. Yeah. They have chess tables. This was kind of hard to build, I will say. The bathrooms, obvi. And then these little, you know, this lighted walkway. I think this is really cute. Lighted, lit, one of the two. And then these, I wanted to make sure there were cherry trees, just because I feel like cherry trees really break up the monotony and also helps it blend into the existing world. That's something I really focus on trying to do, is making sure they blend into the Sims 4 worlds without me having to, like, download and learn the tool mod. We also have this little coffee cart from Eco Lifestyle that, you know, your Sim can get coffee, and I think maybe they can get little pastries here, but I just thought that was kind of a coffee... I don't know. I've seen parks that have these. And then, you know, there's just little walking trails, a pond, like a thing out here. I think it's cute to, like, I don't know, have your Sims sit out here. I don't know. Yeah, I'm really proud of how the park came out. I think it looks a lot like its Sims 2 self. Okay, next, I think it could be worth a shot to show you guys, or worth like a chance to show you guys all these lots that are down here. I know you're extremely interested, but it's like, you know, The Sims 2, Pleasantview. I need to stop saying The Sims 2 Pleasantview. There's only one Pleasantview. Pleasantview in The Sims 2 only had, I believe, 3 community lots. It had the park, it had the grocery store lot, right? Yeah. Right? And then the clothing store, which I didn't rebuild the clothing store, but I think it could be a good idea, possibly. I could think about putting it in Sunset Acres and using businesses and hobbies to make it like a salon. I do love a good salon, but the Gotham Memorial Library is actually a build that I tend to put in The Sims 2, because, you know, I feel like a library is a common thing for your Sims to need, but I used a lot of life and death, which I hadn't really explored the build by mode too much before this. I used life and death, and then I believe these columns are from the... Let me see. Yeah, these are from the castle kit, whatever that is. I don't remember what it's called. I could check, but I don't feel like it. And I don't know, I thought it was really cool. There's the second floor, that's technically the first floor, is great, but I am really proud of how the inside of this came out. I used, you know, wood paneling and yellow and beige and this olive green color, which I always use for my libraries. It just screams library to me, but you can see they have a little check-in desk, or I guess this is the librarian, so you're not checking in, it's like, let me check out, kind of, you know, librarian. This part is very, very fancy, and you see there's not really any computers up here. I do have a laptop up here, but that's like, supposed to be like if someone brought their own laptop and is working in here. And then downstairs is where there is, this is showing, you know, the research and debate thing, but this is actually supposed to be like, look, we have study rooms downstairs. Oh, there's also the bathrooms, but obviously there's nothing interesting there. And then this is actually a picture of Gunther Goth, I believe. This is what, in the lore I have built, this is Gunther Goth. So this is his memorial library, he gets a picture. Yay! But if you go down the stairs, it's very modern down here, so this is a recent renovation, I'd say. And this is where all of the computers is, so this is like the computer lab, we have chess tables, places to chill, and a lot more art. But again, it follows, I think the color schemes go very well together, like the upstairs and the downstairs. It doesn't look too crazy different, but I did want it to look very modern, so it's a lot more white and brighter colors. Yeah, we have only a couple bookshelves down here, because if you want books, go upstairs. Down here is for computers, and this is where people can drop their kids off. And this is actually set up to have a little kid reading area, so they have like story time. Here it's very animal and nature themed. I thought that was fairly cute. So they have these little mushroom stools. Yeah, and these little animals back here watching. And there's also another scout board. Is that what it's called? The Scouts, I believe? Yeah. We have a little art table for your kids. They have their own little desk here. I try not to use any kit stuff in these builds, but lately I've been kind of like, well, whatever, because more and more people are getting kits now. So there's this little My Sims thing. This My Sims poster from the Cozy Gamer kit, I think is what it's called. That doesn't sound right. But yeah, there's just some stuff here. I don't know, I wanted to make it seem very naturey. And then there's also like a scout manual up here. I don't remember why I placed it there specifically, but yes, that's the kids' room. And then this room is a study room for high school, college. I kind of envisioned like community college, but obviously there's not a community college. They have their own little bulletin board, a study room with study stuff, and then they have a whiteboard here, which I don't know if they can do anything with the whiteboard. It's the one from high school years, so I'm not sure if there's any interactions outside of high school, but yeah. And then there's like a little way you can get out this way, and you know, it's very pretty. I think it looks really good at like evening and nighttime, like, ooh, I don't know, I love this little dome. Okay, so let's move on to Headman's Hideaway. Okay, so Headman's Hideaway, in The Sims 1, I think I will pull up a picture of its wiki page, like its lot description right now, so you can see it's supposed to be like a fish restaurant. It's like a fancy fish restaurant, but it's also very New Orleans. And that's something I did want to try and keep with some of these builds, so I would look up New Orleans. I think the library is the only one that I didn't look specifically for New Orleans inspiration. Because again, this is Willow Creek. It's very New Orleans. I can't change that, and I love that. I wouldn't really want to, but also we know Old Town in The Sims 1 is very New Orleans themed. So I was like, what? Just keep that. Just play into it. But yeah, this is a restaurant, so you can see it has a really pretty outdoor area with a fountain. Maybe I should show you in the evening. Yeah, the evening. Very pretty outdoor area with a fountain. And then you come in here, obviously you get seated, and this is very fancy, but also very monotonous, I'd have to say. This is from the bistro kit. I literally could not find any other tables and chairs I wanted to use. So the bistro kit was great, because this is kind of a bistro. I'm extremely proud of this built-in aquarium I built. It took me like 10 minutes of figuring, like just finagling with platforms to get it to work, but it's so great. And this, like, the wood around it, it's from vampires, but you can't really tell. It's like great, see? Like, you can't even tell. Go back. The kitchen is back here. It is not anything crazy, but, you know, it's also what I'd expect from like a fancy small town kitchen. Double doors, so your Sims don't need to go back there, because I don't know. The kitchen door from Dine Out is very metal, and I'm not feeling metal today. 2 waiter stations. Again, more of these. I think this will be excessive. I doubt everyone's gonna sit here. If they do, I'm so sorry. Just like delete a couple of these tables and chairs. But yeah, it's super pretty. I don't know. I like this big flower. That was from a Pinterest picture I found. If you can't tell, I use Pinterest for literally everything. And this is the bathrooms, and these obviously use the vampires paneling again, but then also the tiling from the bistro kit as well, I believe. So there we go. They have a back door, but the back door doesn't really lead to anything other than there's a trash can out here. And I guess it's just another way for your Sims to come and go. And then I forgot, in the kitchen has a fake wine, like nectar area, and this is the Dine Out nectar coolers. So this is like a wine cellar. I didn't want to put actual wine racks there because they're too small, and I wanted these it's just a decorative one, and I needed to fill the space. Upstairs, nothing, but you can't even get to these chairs here. Originally, upstairs was gonna have like a bar, but I was like, I can't do that, because like you can see it's so full, and I know if you add anything else to these lots, your Sims get so distracted while eating. But yeah, I don't know, and I really liked this debug. I think it's live edit, this live edit fish sign. I mean, and like, this is inviting, I would eat here. I don't like seafood, but I believe I did put vegetarian options on the menu. Personally, I absolutely despise seafood to the point that I just tell people I'm allergic. Ooh. Let's look at the Old Town Museum. I'm really proud of this one. Okay, so the Old Town Museum started out with me being like, what kind of lot do we think this place needs? And, you know, library, lounge, restaurant. And I was like, you know, a museum would be nice. A museum. And I didn't want to put it, you know, where the museum was for Willow Creek. So this is actually inspired by a chapel, because I couldn't find any cute museum designs that really inspired me, so I used an old chapel, and was like, let's renovate it so the inside is no longer a chapel. Or not even a chapel, just like a straight up, I believe this was like a Catholic church, possibly, maybe an Orthodox, like a Jewish Orthodox church, initially. Not in the game, obviously, but like the inspiration photo I found, which I did not find on Pinterest, so I'm not sure I can pull it up for you guys. But again, it has another one of those fountains. Big fan of the Space Game fountain. And the ivy, I don't know, it's just like cute. I just think this is a really, really pretty build, and I like this brick, I just never use it. So if you come inside, it's just, you know, a bunch of art, and you can see it's very modern. This is very art museum to me. Everything has the plaques underneath, because like, you know, it's going to tell you what's here. And I tried to get, originally I was like, this is just an art museum, but then I was like, no, I mean, it is an art museum, but you know what I mean? There's not like specifically certain types of art. So there's like this isn't actually an advertisement for Veronaville. This jazz painting, you know, Jungle Adventures. This is actually, in my mind, the reasoning behind putting this here is that this is a movie adaptation of the story of how people reclaimed this, or like recovered this artifact or whatever. Again, stupid stuff. These are done by the same person in my mind, so they're by each other is what I mean. I do love these paintings, specifically this one. Ooh. Okay, this is a wood carving thingy. This one I like. You know, I don't need to show you all of it, but like, oh, this is like a gallery wall. Oh, this one I believe is supposed to be important to the history of the town. I couldn't tell you why, but that's just like kind of the inspiration. And then obviously I couldn't leave something without implying Bob Pancakes. So there's the pancake painting, which always makes me really hungry. It makes me want pancakes. Jazz again. And then this back room is a modern extension to it. Lots of light, very white, and it's just concrete. And this is where your Sims can probably, in my mind, this is where you can get like kind of painting lessons, or you can just come here and mess around. Maybe the museum gets like field trips from the school or whatever, and they let the elementary school kids come in here and like learn how to paint and stuff. I don't know, and like see, this is where the little kids like have their art wall. I thought this was really cute. I don't know. 2 bathrooms again, a little mint green mirror because I thought that was fun. Upstairs is more sculptures than other stuff, but again, this is like a weird. I tried to do very contemporary art up here rather than downstairs, which tried to stay away from out there like pop art type stuff. So here we go. We also have swords. I didn't put a toilet in here. I was really resisting the urge, but I do have like the dogs playing poker, or I guess Don't Wake the Llama, and then there's a gnome exhibit. Yeah, that's really it. I really, really like the museum. I think it's pretty. Okay, this next lot is Lake Barrett, which is a lounge. I believe it was just like a coffee bar in The Sims 1. Sims 1 lot types were weird because I don't think they did not have designated lot types. They were just like, this is a community lot. And there would be like a coffee bar and like a place to buy pets and like magazines, and then also like a little boat pool so your Sims could play with boats, which is adorable, admittedly. But I was like, this is gonna be a lounge, like a classic like jazz lounge. So I was doing a lot of inspiration picture searching for jazz lounges. It's very paranormal pack, clearly, but like look at this. Let me go down. No. How do I go? There we go. Okay. Like, see, this is so pretty. It's a jazz lounge. And your Sims can all sit here. They actually have a fake coat check. So you can get a little coat check. Have your coat set up. Love this painting. It's very Mortimer and Bella to me. I don't know. But yeah, you can come here and like watch a jazz performance. I don't know. I just thought it was so pretty. And I just really like the vibe. Ooh, go back down. And then this is the bathrooms, which I'm also like, look at the vibe of this freaking bathroom. This would be the nicest ass bathroom we've ever been in. Like, I want to go to this bathroom. It's also very dim in like a tasteful way. These are just toilets. There's nothing there. Again with this tile. I'm a big fan of that tile. You go over here. This is where the bar is. Halfway through this build, I believe Life and Death came out, so I was like, oh, cool. So I thought I heard something. I used the bar back that came with that. Big fan. I also think this is very just like classy. Like, here's all the celebrities we've had here in black and white. Ooh. Yeah, another jazz painting. You could just sit here. I don't know. If you go out the door here, there's an outdoor performance venue thing. It's the performer space, so I thought that would be nice. Again with that fountain. Almost every lot in Main Street has the fountain. My bad. And then if you come out here, this is just the lake, which is, you know, why it's named Lake Barrett. I tried to thin it down, so this is more of like a pond or even creek, but Creek Barrett is not the same, doesn't have the same ring. Yeah. The Sims 1 lots really love having ponds for some reason. But I don't know, I think that's really pretty how it looks out this way. I didn't put any table, like, with umbrellas here because, you know, as you can see, they're right there. And I felt like it would be, like, visually distracting to have a different colored table and chairs than these ones, so I just put benches. If you go upstairs, there's a dance floor here, so I figured maybe you could rent out this floor for parties or something, or, you know, certain events. There's a chocolate fountain, some foosball tables. I wish we had pool tables. That's what that would be instead, but it's not. And then just these and like a saxophone and another piano. Again, this is more of a smaller venue vibe. And then these 2 jazz paintings, which I absolutely adore. That's so Ella Fitzgerald. It's insane, but yeah. That's really all there is to this. There's another outdoor table seating section, but yeah, Lake Barrett is an odd build, but I really, really like it, and I think it's pretty faithful to the Sims 1 version. But I don't know, I'm just a big fan of all of these community lots because I think they blend into the world really well, but they're also visually distinct enough that I don't think they look alike, but they all blend together, if that makes sense. After that, I think... what would you guys want to see? I feel like we gotta show The Sims, right? I mean, I gotta show you The Sims. That's the best part of The Sims 2. So here is the household tab. It's not loading. My game's being very slow. So let's go through the world. I'll start off with the Brokes. I feel like the Brokes are very common. I always start with the Brokes for some reason whenever I play The Sims 2 rotationally. I don't know why. Quiba Regenue, or whatever. As you can see, it's still just Brandy, like it's just classic Sims 4 or Sims 2 Brandy, but just, I don't know, I updated her. And she has a tattoo now. I figured she would have like a butterfly, like she'd feel like she needs to be like a butterfly and like fly above all this stuff, but she can't. I don't know, I put all these dumb little, not dumb, but like these little small details in here that like if you're not paying attention, you're gonna miss it, because like these characters have been now with us for over 20 years, and it's like if you don't switch things around a little bit, or like, I don't know, add little things, we're all just gonna like be like, who cares? And that's not what I want. I want this to be exciting and new. Brandy has her nails painted. She does not have her toenails painted because she's a mess. But each of the Sims do come with their respective skills from the Sims 2 and other ones that I feel like they should have. Like Brandy has a couple points of parenting skill, even though she's not a good parent. She does have some parenting skill. But she, you know, has likes and dislikes. She only dislikes the color black. I think she's a really open person. She likes cooking since that's the thing she almost has maxed out in The Sims 2. I'm not going to show you their other outfits because, well, one, they're nothing like their Sims 2 outfits, other than the main outfit is very similar. Actually, I believe I did give Brandy her maternity wear that she changes into once she finds out she's pregnant, which she is pregnant already. Spoiler, I guess, but if you don't know, Brandy Broke has an unborn baby. What are you doing? And it should be Skip's baby, like normal. That means it will have the genetics of Skip, unlike in The Sims 2, where for some reason the baby always turns out to be like a clone of Brandy. I mean, I know why, and we all know why, but it's like no reason. Yeah, that's still Brandy. Dustin, I believe the Brokes were the first family I did indeed make for this file. I love Dustin. His nose was very important for me to get. I feel like in The Sims 2, he has a very distinct nose that not a lot of people make sure to give him whenever they remake him in other games. I didn't want to give him the same outfit, but I figured he would still be kind of into sports, so I gave him his little jersey, but it's a little different. I feel like he'd be a very big sneakerhead. I don't know why. And I just realized he has technically 3 top layers if you count the one that he has tied around his waist. He really dislikes artsy Sims and tween pop music. I don't remember why I said he didn't like artsy Sims. There was a reason. I think it's probably because it's like kind of like a hippie Sim-ish, like a very free spirit, and maybe he dislikes that his mom's like that. Again, it's very open. I don't know, I love Dustin. And then there's little Beau. Look at how big his eyes are. But yeah, it's just classic little Beau. Nothing really new. That's Beau Broke. He's inquisitive because he's supposed to be a genius. Like, he's extremely smart. I don't know. Okay, and the Broke trailer is really, really, you know, they're all of the lots are extremely similar to the Sims 2 cells, just updated a bit. So the Sims 4 Broke trailer is a lot more run down. You know, they have overgrown grass, there's a spare tire out here. But still hints of like Brandy trying to do things, like keep it light. So she has like a pop of color out here with the rug. These are overgrown. She has laundry out here with dried dead grass. There's a gnome out here. This is the pool he died in. R.I.P. Skip. And there's still caution things around from when the cops did their investigation. And there's a rubber ducky out here. I like to think that maybe Beau came out here and threw a ducky in the water. Kind of morbid. I don't know. Is it a little morbid? It's just kind of weird. But yeah, if you come in here, it's a rundown mess. And that's exactly what I wanted. So there's scratches, it has dirty stuff around the baseboards. This is not a well-kept trailer. And that's exactly what I wanted. So you come in here, obviously it's the exact same, it's just a little different layout and more stuff. So there's unpaid bills, there's one here, all of this stuff. There's a hole that she's trying to cover with a painting. Again, the butterfly motif for Brandy. I don't know. I thought that was really clever. Here's a lot of Beau's toys. There's a cobweb over here. It's just kind of gross. This is a team photo of some sort. Maybe Dustin played like t-ball. Here is the kitchen. Again, very gross. She has barbecue sauce here. There's open cans. It's gross. It's gross! There's a pipe. Oh, and there's little, postcards here. And some of them are from places that are important to them. So like there's one from Riverview, which is where Brandy's parents are from, and Skip was from in The Sims 3. There's also Sunset Valley, which is, just early Pleasantview. Bridgeport, Appaloosa Plains, Twinbrook, just places I feel like make sense for them to have. I'm really proud of Dustin and now Beau's room, because in The Sims 2, Beau had a crib out here, but toddlers don't sleep in cribs in The Sims 4, so Dustin and him share a little bedroom he has a loft bed, and then Beau sleeps down there, which is smart. He has little stuff. I don't know, I feel like Dustin takes care of Beau a lot. We all know that, but Dustin really takes care of Beau in this. It's very apparent. So Dustin still has a lot of stuff everywhere, just kind of strewn about. His dirty clothes, his backpack, this nuclear radiation thingy, and then he has his own little gaming corner. Since he doesn't have a pinball machine, he has a little gaming corner, some stuff to go through in this locker. I really thought this was, I don't know, I had a lot of fun putting this together. The bathroom is obviously here, it's a little gross, etc., etc. Again, another crack that they're trying to cover. And then Brandy's room, oh, there's also the holiday decoration box and a cobweb. Brandy's room is, less cluttered, and also less expensive than it was in The Sims 2. We all know that if you play in The Sims 2, for some reason, she has a crazy expensive bedroom set, and then this is not the case. This is Skip. I told you the pool was a bad idea. I believe that's true. I believe Brandy did indeed tell Skip that, like, hey, we do not need a pool right now. And then he literally drowned in his pool of hubris. Again, another photo there. But yeah, Brandy has her own dirty clothes here. Pink, because Brandy wears pink. Here are her shoes. I believe that's literally all the shoes she owns, too. I don't think she owns any more than the shoes she's wearing in that. Candles here, because she had candles in The Sims 2. She has a little chair here, and then a closet. And then she has a door into the bathroom, which I don't believe she had in The Sims 2. But yeah, I don't know, I think the Brooks house is really nice, and then there's their neighbor, which is that one green trailer from The Sims 2 that's also next to them, and then they'll have some more stuff here. I believe I wanted this to be a basketball court, and this to be another trailer. Like, these are just going to be more trailers, but I think this was going to be a basketball court. Let's go to the Pleasants. I feel like the Pleasants are a natural second family to check out. They're pretty good, too. If I do say so myself, I'm gonna toot my own horn. Toot toot. Oh my god, what was that? Anyway, here's Daniel. He looks not a lot like his Sims 2 self. I mean, same basic stuff, but I wanted to, I don't know. A lot of the Pleasantview Sims are just the face template Sims. We all know this. They're the like basic face templates in Create a Sim, so I thought it would be more interesting to kind of switch up how they look a little bit. He still looks like himself though. Like, that's still Daniel Pleasant. Mary Sue is here, obviously. She is so pretty. She's so pretty. Ugh. She's so pretty. She does like pottery. If you remember her bio, it says she does like pottery, but she dislikes tattoos, which I thought was very, I don't know, I feel like she would never have a tattoo. Here's Angela. As you can tell, she looks a lot more like a combination of her parents' genetics in this game than she does in The Sims 2. I don't know, she looks a lot more like her parents. She has her little things here. Angela, obviously, they're the exact same person. They just have slightly different eyebrows. I guess they even have the same exact eyebrows. They just have, she's not smiling. She is not smiling. Oh, this is her hot weather. Yeah, I don't know. I think I did a really good job with her outfit, even though it's different than the Sims 2 one. It's just because we don't have the same stuff. So I think this is really a good illustration. Upon further reflection, I will be indeed having to split this video into 2 parts, but it will just be Pleasantview and then Oasis Springs. Pleasantview and then Strangetown. Just because the overviews are going to take a very long time, just because I want to show you guys everything I've been working on. There's so many little details. Obviously, I want you to explore some yourself, but I want to show you. Like, how else would you have... I mean, I guess you could figure out that I left a butterfly motif for Brandy, but come on. Come on! The Pleasantview house, I am also very proud of. This was one of the earliest builds I did for the save. I don't think it shows that much. I tend to go crazy with the details, and I think that's just apparent in all of them. So, yeah, you come in. Their entryway is here. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, they have a record player. I feel like that makes sense for them. I don't know, I feel like Daniel would be very into, like, vinyl. He's very stereotypical dad, despite being a cheating douche. Here's an old sports trophy of his. I feel like he's... You know, we all know in The Sims 2 he's not doing great in his career that well. Like, he's kind of stagnated, so I think he has his workout area, and he has his trophy right there, and he uses it to, like, watch, like, as motivation. Like, you used to be someone. Very, like, I don't know, American Psycho, kind of self-deprecating. Does that make any sense? Here's a yoga mat. I think Mary Sue does yoga to kind of ground herself. I feel like she knows she can get very stressed out, so she's like, I need to ground myself. I'm going to meditate. Like, I feel like that's one of the only kind of, I don't know, crunchy mom things she would ever do is yoga. And maybe her mom, maybe Coral passed yoga down or something. Here's their little bathroom here. Every bathroom in this house is a full bathroom, which is maybe crazy, but this is a stockbroker tutor. They have a lot of money. I'm really proud of the kitchen and dining area. I don't like to do open and dining and kitchen areas personally, but just because I never grew up in an area like that. The house I live in now does, but as a kid I never had that, so I didn't like it growing up. But they have some wine here. I do feel like Mary Sue would be kind of a wine mom. Here's a plate that one of the girls made, maybe both of them. Yeah, I don't know. Very yellow and blue. And then the kitchen is... I never used this color counter swatch before I built this house. I do remember that, and then I started using it after. I don't know, it's very, I don't know, bland in a traditional sense. I don't know, does that make any sense? You come in here, here's the living room. It's very tight, but I don't think that's bad. I think this is a cozy living room. I would be okay spending time here. This is a sports team photo. I use that photo a lot, if you can't tell. That's just supposed to be any framed photo before we got the ability to have framed photos. So this is actually a sports photo, though, for probably Daniel. There's a lot of D names in Pleasantview. Here is a little book. They have a TV remote, which I did have to search through debug before I had the organized debug mode to find that TV remote, so it stays. Yeah, I don't know. They also have a little lighthouse snow globe. I like snow globes as a little decoration. This is the master bedroom. Yellow and purple. I got very into this color combination for a bit whenever I was building this house. Yeah, they used to have an open closet area, but obviously now I can have an actual closet here for them. The modern clock. This little shoe rack, which I thought was so clever. It's just a little shelf. I was like, wow, that's so modern, that's so cool. Joseph, get over yourself. And then they have their own little bathroom. I like this tile color a lot. Up here, it's just the landing. And now, this used to be a painting, like an easel, but since we have a business and hobbies, it's now updated, so Mary Sue does pottery. Yay! She does pottery. Angela's room, very girly, very green, not very green, very pink, very yellow, and very green. And those are the colors I really feel like stand out most in her personality. Green, yellow, then pink, but I don't know, this is very her. Again with the butterflies, but there's not really a butterfly motif for Angela. She has a bookshelf. I'm really, really proud of this area of her room. I don't know, this is like her personality. You know, she wants to be a fishing boat captain, so she does have fishing skill, and there's a rainbow fish, because, like, obviously, and she likes knockoff Miku, and the flamingo, and, like, She does her nails. She has her own little chair. Those are her shoes. I don't know. It feels very lived in. I think you can tell that's kind of a thing I try and do with all my builds, is make them look very lived in and feel very lived in, like a real person lives here. There's the bathroom. Sorry, that was just me showing the bathroom. This little towel area, and then Lilith's room, and Lilith's room is crazy! As you can see, she has garlic above the door, and I think that's because she hates her mom so much that she's both of her parents so much that she's hoping that maybe garlic will keep them out, even though that's only for vampires. She has her amp and her guitar, even though this is an acoustic guitar. Whatever. More postcards for her. Sorry, that one looked weird. More postcards. Her backpack is behind cobwebs, so she has not touched her schoolwork in months, maybe even a year. I don't know. She just doesn't do it. She has her own desk. She doesn't have a computer, but Angela has a computer, just like in The Sims 2. But I think it's more at a choice. I feel like she's very acoustic, quote unquote, if that makes sense. Like, she's very laid back and doesn't like technology as much as her sister. So she likes to write down her thoughts. She has a zombie Carl thing. I feel like she'd like him. Again, just very red and black. I really like this divider here. And then her bed is one of my favorite areas in her room. Like, all the detail with the posters and the curtains and stuff. And like the mouse hole. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's very gross in a realistic way. Here's the backyard. Nothing really to write home about. Some little plants. Mary Sue has her kiln here, so this is where she fires all her pottery that she has time to make whenever she does have time. There's a grill, a little seating area, another little lounge area. This is where I picture Angela comes out here and she tans, so she has a little tanning lotion. The pool, and then they have a little swing set here, which no one really uses anymore. And they're right by the community garden, so I think it's, I don't know. I feel like this house fits pretty well right here, personally. Yeah. Let's look at the Dreamers. Ooh, I really love what I did with the Dreamers.
Narskal? Huh?
Stop it! That was my Harvey Firestein impression. Okay. So here is Darren. I think he looks so good. He reminds me of a very specific actor. But I think it's his eyes. I don't remember why or who, but he reminds me of a very specific actor. As you can see, he looks a little bit different than his Sims 2 self in terms of outfits. I feel like he's very, he's very artsy. We all know that. He wants to be a painter, but I feel like he's very, like, maybe low-key hippie-ish. I mean, with the patterns and the bracelets and stuff, the beads. I don't know. He's very handsome. This is a very handsome man. Dirk, on the other hand, is not very artsy like that. He likes alt music, he likes research and debate, but he also likes video gaming and handiness, so he's still very, much like his Sims 2 self. This is him. I like his hair a lot. I don't know, I really, really like it. And then you can see his outfit is not like his Sims 2 self, but colors are reminiscent, simply because, like, in the Sims 2, a lot of Sims wore the same outfits. I mean, Johnny Smith, Romeo Monty, Dustin, Broke, and Dirk Dreamer all had the same outfit in different colors. Like, what? So that is not the case in this anymore. They look different, but I don't know. He's really, really cute. He's really cute. So this is the Dreamer's house. As you can see, it's very, 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 very similar to its Sims 2 self. That's the main point, is that I want the exterior to look a lot alike. They have, more plants out here. It's a very crowded porch, but whatever. They have a bamboo wind chime. I do love wind chimes. And this is technically the blue version of this bin, so it's supposed to be a recycling bin. Like, Darren's very into recycling. Their house is a little older. It's a little more rundown. It's still suburban, but not as rundown as the Brokes, but it's definitely the in-between between the Pleasant house and the Brokes. They still have their dartboard. There's some art here. Maybe Darren did it. Maybe he bought it. Probably he did it. I really like their TV area. They have a small TV. They have a future cube, so whatever. Again with that little painting. I guess I was really into this painting. Yeah, and then I don't know. This is like quirky. There's like little quirky things in this house that I feel like is very reminiscent of their personality. If you go in here, here's the bathroom. Very blue and brown. I went for the very yellowy, beige, brown, and orange color scheme here, and I think it really fits. But Dirk's bedroom is the opposite. I don't think he would like that at all. So it's very blue. There's the Henry Puffer poster. I feel like he's a well-rounded kid. We all know that. But he likes sports. He likes books and gaming. So he has a soccer ball. But he's also very smart. So he has some awards he's won. But he's just like a normal guy. I don't know. He has a sci-fi movie he likes. I don't know. I really, really like Dirk. I've always had a soft spot for him. The kitchen area is here. They also have overdue bills, and they have an old computer. But here's the kitchen area. They have their own little there. There's a dining table, a small one, like a breakfast nook. Here's the kitchen. Really, really love their kitchen with this wall tile. It's so pretty. And they have a little frog on their menu board. What do they draw in there? I don't know. Probably just Dirk reminding Darren they need groceries or something. But yeah, this is like I don't know, this is a very realistic kitchen. And then this is an addition I added that I love. This is a sunroom. So as you can see, there's a glass roof, but this is a sunroom that's their main dining room. And I love it so much. But they have some plants in here. They have an orange tree, which I think is very cute. And some art, and I don't know. This is great. This is probably what they use if they ever invite people over, which I feel like maybe Darren tries to have tries to have Lilith over for dinner, but it just doesn't really happen that often. They have their own little grill and this little area with candles, and then here is Darlene's grave. She just gets a rest in peace, no quirky little quips like Skip's grave, but there's Darlene. Yeah. I do have it in the save that Dirk and Dustin are good friends, like they met, and in my mind they met in detention. Because you can see in Dirk's memories that his grades really fell after his mom died, so maybe he got sent to detention, and, Dustin was there. So here is what I like to call Darren's workspace. So he has his art table, his art supplies, all of his storage stuff, and multiple things. Like, I feel like he has so many projects going at once. He's very scattered like that, but there's still a closet here, because in The Sims 2 there was a bathroom here, and I was like, there's no point for there to be a bathroom here. But I did put a bathroom here. Yeah, I don't think there's a bathroom on this side. I believe there was one here, and I moved it. It's been so long since I built this, but I really like this bathroom. I never used the shower, so this was a fun way to use the seasoned shower. And then his bedroom is very blue, but less harsh. I think it has very soft lighting. I'd like to think that maybe he went to school for architecture and decided he really liked art along the way, but this is maybe something he designed. This very pretty sculpture that's technically not a bookshelf, but it is. Yeah. Camera. I feel like Darlene would have been into photography, so that's maybe a camera that she bought to collect or something. But yeah, their house is very pretty. I love it. Love it! Okay. Take a quick look-see at the goths. Okay. So here's Mortimer. I really love this version of Mortimer. He has crazy eye bags and dark spots around his eyes, which are just makeup, but they are on all of his outfits, so clock that. But yeah, I don't know. He's a very haunted old man. I mean, come on, his wife went missing from aliens. Aliens! The love of his life that he's known since they were like toddlers. God. But yeah, I don't know. He looks great. Very handsome. Cassandra. This is her hot weather. Hold up. Okay, Cassandra looks great. She actually had a couple different versions of this outfit in previous versions of the save that I obviously don't release, but had. Simply because her dress in The Sims 2 is so odd to recreate, but I ended up just giving her the set from Vintage Glamour. And these shoes from Life and Death, right? Yeah. I don't know. She also has this locket from Life and Death. I just think she's so pretty. Again, she's one of those that I had to mess with her face a bit so that she didn't look like a face template, because technically her and Kaylin Langrak, I don't know if you've ever seen, they have the exact same face as The Sims 2, just different colors, because they're using the same face template. I believe it's face template 2. Yeah, so she looks a little different, but she also looks a lot more like both of her parents together, which I'm very proud of. And then there is little Alexander, who has a slightly darker skin tone than he did in The Sims 2, who was crazy white, and I feel like, you know, he's the son of Bella as well, so he needs to have some of that. But his outfit's also a little less formal. Still very black, and he still has his crazy big boots, but I feel like this is probably just because he likes to get in the mud, because he's a little kid. He hates the color orange, also. Everybody has at least one color they dislike, and his is orange. I couldn't tell you why. So Goth Manor is one of those that I'm really, really, really proud of. It looks a lot like its Sims 2 build self, obviously. It's kind of an iconic shape. It's hard not to keep it the same, but I did include some elements from Goth Manor in The Sims 3, which is personally my favorite iteration of the house. And also they have this little old-ass red cobblestone mailbox, which is very Bella. I feel like these are probably all of her flowers. I feel like she was very into gardening. I just feel like that. I don't know. Because Morticia Addams was also into gardening, and, you know, they're mirrors of each other. This is their entryway, like normal. Very wood, very brown, very old, very stifling, and I bet it gets hot as hell in here. But there is a little memorial plaque thingy that I don't have a picture of Bella in, but maybe, you know, you guys can put a picture of Bella in, but that's the intention, is that this is where they kind of go to mourn Bella. Her grave is in the back, though. This is the kitchen. I really, really like the kitchen a lot. These appliances are great. I don't know. And then this is Alex's lunchbox. I feel like Cassandra probably makes his lunch, even though she's busy, she just wants to, and Mortimer's like, I can. They have a teapot, because I don't feel like they'd be into coffee, I feel like they'd be very into tea. Here is the dining room, very formal. I believe, in my mind, this is their house. This is probably the old Goth Manor, before it burnt down, because you look in their memories, there was a house fire. So this is their old Goth Manor, and, you know, it's here. Yeah, it's very pretty. Out here is the one big addition I added to the house, which is a greenhouse area, or what is this? Is this a greenhouse? A sunroom, you know, garden, conservatorium, or whatever, I don't know. Full of plants. I had such a good time just, like, filling it out with all these plants. And there's technically places for you to plant garlic, a dahlia, not a death flower, and then roses. And again, I feel like this is probably Bella's place. She really liked to hang out and entertain. Oh, and cherries, which is a tree, though, so I don't think that's smart to have in here. My bad. I feel like Bella really spent a lot of time out here. There's a teapot, so I feel like she would probably have, like, a garden party, and she'd invite people over, and they'd sit here, and they'd talk about the weather, or talk about the neighborhood, or certain things that are going on. They'd have tea. And then the living room. No TV, obviously. They are not a TV household or a computer household, even though I think I can give them one. They have their aquarium and their chess table, just like in The Sims 2. If you come out here, it's all set up for Cassandra and Dawn's wedding. I was really proud of this buffet table. That's only a little bit of a buffet table, but I wanted to make it as big as the other one. And then this is like, isn't this gorgeous? I mean, this at like, hold up, why isn't the, there we go. This at like night. Ooh, I think whenever I have them get married in my game, whenever I play this, it will be at night, because like this is just, ooh, it's great. And I also particularly love the landscaping out here. I know an earlier version I did of this lot had them on the, what used to be the Oakenstead lot, and then I had a giant pond, and it just felt wrong. I feel like the Goths are just not big lot people in The Sims 2. Big lots, R.I.P. And then there's the family graveyard. Yep, I built this for life and death. So the only thing with a life and death grave is, in fact, Bella. That's my big change to them from The Sims 2, is that Bella does have a grave. And that is because the Bella that they are genetically related to is considered dead in this game, just so that they can mourn her and that, you know, they have appropriate memories and stuff. But there is still Strangetown Bella, quote unquote, wandering around in Strangetown. And I guess everywhere, just due to the nature of The Sims 4, but if you download a mod that allows you to change who walks by, she will only be in Strangetown. So yeah, Bella does have a grave, just so that, you know, I feel like the town was like, well, she's dead, even though maybe the family didn't accept it. Yeah, but also you can see this is like a fresh grave. And it says she was a beloved mother, wife, and friend, which is very true. I mean, I bet Bella had so many friends in town, and everybody adored her. I mean, everybody. here's a little landing. Again, nothing really special other than pictures of family, a suit of armor. Here's their little study area. This is a picture I really do like from, what is it? Basement Treasures or whatever set. The kit, and it has a picture of Bella and Cassandra, way younger, on a couch. I think that's cute. They do technically have a computer, but it's the typewriter computer from Cottage Living, and a bunch of degrees, because I feel like everybody is highly awarded here. Some bookcases. Here is the master bedroom, very dark, very red, very romantic. Here's Bella's old vanity. It still has her nail polish. And here's a little keepsake box, which I believe is like her jewelry box that, you know, Cassandra will get whenever she maybe gets married. I don't know. And then their bathroom. Nothing crazy for the ensuite. Here's also the hall bathroom. It's basically the same as the one downstairs. If you come in here, this is Cassandra's room. It's pretty empty, but I think it's probably Cassandra gearing up to maybe move. So there's not too much, like that's a weird corner. But again, that picture, which is not supposed to be a team picture, but she has a tarot card. I feel like she'd probably be very into tarot. And then this cute little reading spot by the fire. By the fire. That sounds so nice. Alex's room, it got a major upgrade from The Sims 2. He has all this stuff. It's very blue, but there's also paneling to break it up. I'm a big fan of using paneling to break up walls, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like probably Bella put extra care into this room whenever he was a baby, and then he just kind of, it never got changed that much other than giving him a big boy bed whenever, you know, she went missing. So this is probably very similar to how they left it. He also has the element rack thingy, so he's probably into, I mean, we know he's into science and crap. So there's that. And then upstairs is Mortimer's little painting area, just a little more fleshed out, and then the telescope of the okay, so that's really it for the Pleasantview world right now.